than it is. Again, the issue is how you get true size and shapes, or the elevation, so that you can get started. Okay? And you'll use the exact same technique to find true size and shape with this view as if you had it behind it. And again, we'll cover that in just a couple minutes. So there's a good example. One thing you want to be cognizant of here is on the previous one, since it's behind the picture plane, you come from the station point to the point, and then you take picture plane and come down. On this one, you go from station point to point. Now, you haven't intersected the picture plane yet, but that's going to define that angle. And then you extend that line to the picture plane and then drop it down. Okay? So you got to kind of one extra step in CAD, in that you have to run the extend command on every one of those lines. But it does produce a bigger view if that's what you're looking for. Okay. You're going to see that come up on your church drawing. Okay, this last one, I'm also going to demo this today, is what happens when we get planes that are not normal. Okay. In essence, the normal plane's what we've done so far all the way, right? Everything's been 90 degrees to each other, kind of like a cube or a prism. What happens for inclined planes or oblique planes? You need to define a different vanishing point for them. Okay? And that's what this figure is all about. Okay? Remember I mentioned we're going to shingle the roofs of the church? Again, we'll demo this, but in essence, here is an inclined plane. You see it right here, and you also see it right here. Okay? That's an inclined plane, right, by definition? Edge view and one view, foreshortened and all adjacents. Now, we can't use a standard vanishing point for that, anything on that surface, because it's not parallel to one of our principal three planes. So what we end up doing is we draw the plane as it occurs, like right here. Okay? Because we can draw this line and locate the four endpoints, standard perspective projection. And we can define this plane. Now, if we're going to draw anything else on this plane, though, we need a new vanishing point. So what we end up doing is we take these linear features like this edge, and we just extend them out. Because they're on the plane, they've already defined the angle of the inclined plane. We extend them out till they intersect. That gives us that new vanishing point, and then that allows us to go ahead and draw any feature on there. Now, if you don't have two of these lines, like here and here, it's on here. This one you do, because it's right there and right there. Keep in mind, you're a drafter. You got a pencil and eraser, and you got the line command and the delete command. You can add lines to this. Okay, if I did not have one, I'd come in here and I would draw one, and then project it onto this view. Now I have two parallel lines. I can project them and find that vanishing point. So, and then I just delete it back out. So we're going to cover this a little bit today too. All right, so any questions on what we've talked about? Probably a little bit, but they'll become apparent, I believe, in a moment. Okay, so there's your examples. Now, the second thing we're going to do today is we're going to go back to that drawing we did yesterday. We had a second figure, and I want to do a 1 and 2 point perspective of it this morning as a group. When we're finished with that, I'm going to draw the church for you. Now, I don't want to do this as a group because it'd just take us too long, but I'm going to draw it through. I know many of you are already on that drawing, and hopefully you see a couple areas where maybe you went wrong or technique that you might like to use. I will also throw shingles on the roof so you see how we find these missing vanishing points on inclined planes, because the church has 2 and 4 inclined planes on it. Okay? All right, so just kind of tuck this one away for a minute until we get to these points, and then you'll see how it works. If you would, open the drawing we did yesterday. All right, let's do a 1 point perspective first. Now, we have this second object that's right here. Okay, this is the one I'd like to do. So if you would, copy your 1-point perspective stuff off to the side somewhere so we can use it. I'm going to just grab my ground line, horizon line, picture point, station point, excuse me, picture plane. And then set it up. So I'm going to put my right side view on the ground. If you would get to this situation where you've got the ground line, horizon line, picture plane, and your two views you need for this object, which would be a view that has height, the right side view works the best, and the top view set on your picture plane as such.
I mean, do you want that same level? Do you want your horizon the same level as your object?
It doesn't matter. It's just fairly tall object. I think it's 4, which you can put 4 in between them. You can stretch those apart if you wish.
No, you
If you're already here and you're waiting, the next thing we're going to do is do a station point somewhere over here with a 30-degree cone of vision. Go ahead and start that. I'll wait till everybody else is ready before I do mine. Okay, is everybody to this step right here? Missy, you good? Okay. Jeff, you good? All right, I would like you to set this up to where we're going to see the front and right side of this. So I want you to draw your station point somewhere over here. Okay, that's going to be your station point. And then go ahead and from that location, let's do our 30-degree cone of vision. I'm going to put that in, use dim angle. And get to approximately 30 degrees by using the stretch command. So mine's somewhere down in there, and that's at 30 degrees. Keep in mind, when you're doing that station point, if you want to look at it straight on, it puts it over here. If you want to see more of the right side, move it over into here, wherever the case might be, depending on what you want to see of the object. While we're waiting for people, let me just ask a question, those of you that are to this step. If I want to see more of the top of this object, What variable would I mess with?
Rotate the object?
I want to see more of the top.
Yeah, rotate the object.
Station.
No? No?
When you move your horizon line and you're like further
Yeah.
down.
Yep, that would actually bring it up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because remember, a bird's eye view, horizon line's above it, human's eye view, you're 6 feet. And then think of what happens with a ground line view. Don't you start losing view of the top?
Yeah.
And then a worm's eye view is the horizon line below. So if I want to see more of the top, I'm going to take this horizon line and sneak it up into here. Okay, and make that a bigger distance. If I wanted to see less of the top, I'm going to take my horizon line and just kind of move it down here. There's no set distance on any of this stuff. Okay, most people just set them halfway in between the horizon line between the picture plane and here because it gives you kind of a generic view. But it's all object driven and what you want to display on. Are you good, Missy? Juan, you good? Okay. All right, so we've got that. Next thing we need to set up is our vanishing point. This is a 1-point perspective. So how do we do that? We follow the angle of our receding or vanishing plane, which in a 1-point perspective is only the depth dimension here. So from my station point, I'm going to follow that angle, which in this case is vertical, to the horizon line. That's going to be my vanishing point. So I just set that as my point. So I'll take a line from my station point straight to my horizon line, and then I'm going to place another point there, and that's going to be my vanishing point. There's the setup. Again, I'm following the example in your text on a 1-point perspective. If you wish to look at that, I'll give you the page number here in just a second. It's on page 639. We're just following those steps. We just got through step 3. Is everybody to this step? Anybody want me to wait or need help? Okay, now we're getting ready to start. We're done with our setup. This thing's ready to start being drawn. First thing we always do with perspectives is we need to define the height. So we need a true size element. Since we're on a 1-point, this front edge is sitting right on the picture plane, therefore it's true size and shape. Now, keep in mind, this front edge right here is only that front edge. Okay. So you do have a front view that you should have projected. We can just take that view and bring it right over, or you can project for it. Okay, since I just used the copy yesterday, I'm just going to project for it today. So I'm just going to grab, and I'm using orthographic projection here. Okay, since it is true size right on the picture plane. So I'm going to take that over and bring my height. Then I'll do a little trimming. So that's gone, that's gone. And another line right here. Match properties. So there is my front view, that rectangle.
Oh, you're only doing the bottom?
No, I'm only doing
The front.
the part that's touching the picture plane, which is that and that, because it's true size.
Gotcha.
Is the next bit like the next piece that goes on that view, is that true size too when it's done, or is it goofy?
It's goofy.
Okay.
This will be the only thing that's true size on the entire drawing, right here.
I wondered like that.
One thing I found to be quite useful in perspectives is when I'm drawing them, I use a layer that I might call true length or an existing layer I'm not using, and every time I've got a true length element in my drawing, I put it to that layer. So as I go and move to different planes, I can always come back and say, oh, I already know that's true length, you know. So feel free to use some color coding or something like that of your drawing that will remind you of where these true size elements are, because they're going to occur in many different places. Many of them won't even be on the drawing. All right, we all good on this? Now, again, like yesterday, I would recommend, as you're doing perspectives, is to draw a plane and try and finish it, and then use that plane to link to another plane, and in essence, trace your way around and through an object. And in fact, I would like to draw this way. What I want to do, we just drew this one. Okay. Well, this right here is a line that we see as a point. Is that in common with this plane? Okay, so I've got this one. Now I'm going to use this to link me to this one. Once I get that, I'm to here, I might link it to this one. And then I might do this one. So I'm just going to link and go all the way around an object. It's generally a pretty efficient way to go. And it's also a way to keep from making mistakes, because you don't want to get halfway through something, go somewhere else, and you forget to come back and finish it. So in essence, let's do that. Let's not even worry about this right side, okay, until we deal with this and these right here. So the first thing we've got is we've got this as a line. You see it as a point here. I don't have it shown, but it's a line right here too, right? Mm-hmm. So we know that that line right here and here, that's vanishing. It has to vanish to your right point. So let's go ahead and follow that plane over. So I'm going to take a line, and I'm going to go from here to my vanishing point. And all we're trying to do here, folks, is deal with this plane right here. So just draw those two. We've defined the height of this plane. Here it is. Here's one edge. Here's the other edge. That's that line and that line. What we have to do is find out where it stops. It stops here and here, correct? How do we find out where it stops? Go to the station point. So from here, we'll go from the station point to the point I'm trying to locate. So station point to here. That's the back of that plane. Where you cross the picture plane comes straight down. Now, since we've only got one vanishing plane, you don't have to do the other one. This is going to be a horizontal line. But if you wish to project both of them, do it. Again, it's a way to check if you wish to. Okay, so there's one of them. I'll grab this guy, move it to here, and we'll bring this one down. And I should have a horizontal line right there. Then go ahead and clean yourself up once you have that. So you should be looking like such. If you need help or you're unsure what's going on, ask questions or ask me to come over. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, you need to come down to that one because you were looking for this point, which is on this line. So just extend that down to there. Now there should be a horizontal line right there. Okay, did you finish that one? You good? Okay. All right, let's go ahead and do the next. Now, I mentioned just kind of linking this thing around. We're right to this point. Now, we know that this is a vertical plane. It doesn't vanish. There's just going to be two lines that go straight up at this point. But I'm not going to be able to find where it stops until I define a new height. And watch for this in perspectives. Whenever you switch heights, you've got to get to true size. You've got to define that height. And you do it by going true size. Doesn't matter if the object's way behind the thing. Doesn't matter if it's in front. You got to get true size. Now, how are we going to do that? We're going to actually just kind of imagine something. So, keep in mind, I see this height right here, right? It says top rectangle. It's also right here. Well, I see the front edge of it, so I'm going to put this piece of paper right here with this edge as the top. Now, can I move that edge? Keep in mind, this is a two-dimensional plane. We call it a surface, but a plane can be infinite, right? It's defined in its XY dimension. Okay. I'm going to take this plane, and I'm going to say it's here, but then I'm going to extend this front edge to the picture plane. Now, it's imaginary. It's not here, but I'm going to extend it to there just to find true size. Does that make sense? I'm going to take that plane, and I'm going to extend it to the picture plane. When you extend these planes, you have to follow the angle of the plane. Here's the angle. It's vertical. So we're going to take that front edge, move it to right here, find true size. So we know the width of it. Okay, keep in mind, there's an imaginary one right here on the picture plane. When it gets to the picture plane, I can use my right side view. Okay, so I'm going to come over and grab my height. It happens to fall right on the horizon line here, at least whatever dimensions. Now I'm going to project down, because remember, I'm on the picture plane, I'm orthographic projection. Now let me go ahead and trim that up and get it the right. I'm going to change the color of it so I can see it. And I'll tell you what, I'll put this on the text layer. So you're going to end up, we should have slid the horizon line, I apologize for that. Because we did a 4 offset, this guy's 4. Do you see that cyan piece right there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is true size. Okay. Again, raise your hand, get me over there if you're not sure what we're doing and you need help.
And it doesn't have to be on the horizon line, it can be anywhere in between.
If you never had the exact, my height right here just lines up right with it. But if yours wasn't.
That's why I said that, but it's okay.
So you can only do that if it's parallel.
If you're on the picture plane, you're doing parallel projection, orthographic projection, same thing. Yes. And so we just took this thing and extended to here. So now I've got true size, I can just project. Okay. So here it is. Now, is it really there? No, it's not. Now, it's going to be here. The plane doesn't start till back here, but I've defined the height. I know that it vanishes this way. So all we have to do is come to here. Yeah, gosh, this is going to fall right on the darn thing.
See? We do.
Yeah, we're not going to see the top. It's going to be a flat line. Darn.
Yeah.
Gotta make a thing in my notes saying, hey, move that to 5.
Well, you can just move on.
It'll still work. We just won't really see it.
We can do it, just don't see it.
Okay, let's go ahead and change this.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what we need to do, folks. Just toast this right here. All we're going to do is toast a little bit of it. Because that's the only thing that changed. Now, go ahead and move your horizon line and your vanishing point up a couple units. Just kind of click it up. Okay, so you're sitting something like this. Apologize for that. I should have foreseen that. Reason we had to delete this is we were going to slide the vanishing point. This is still true size and shape. This is still true size and shape.
But now we're not at 30 degrees.
Yeah, we should.
No, we never moved the station point.
Oh,
All we did was slide the vanishing point up. I'm still at 30 degrees. Everything else is the same.
Now it's not gonna give us,
It's going to let us see part of this top.
it's gonna give us more of the top view than we would have had before.
Yes. Yep. Further we get that horizon line away, the more of the top we'll see. Okay, let's go ahead and redo our little plane back here. So I'm going to come here, vanishing point, and then I've got to go station point to those two right here. And locate those. Good practice. And we're right back to where we started.
You went from your vanishing point?
Okay, I had to redraw this top.
Yeah.
I have true size, so I know from this, because this vanishes, right?
Uh-huh.
Everything on this angle. So I went from here to vanishing point, here to vanishing point. I
Okay.
had to locate this back edge right here. To do that, I went from station point to point, right across the picture plane, bring it down, draw a horizontal line to the other one, trim it up.
Okay.